Wait a second. You know what time it is? It's time. The Trump train is on track, and God is doing things right now that are phenomenal breakthroughs in almost every mountain. I talk about the mountains of culture. And, I've had a lot of people over the years fighting me and saying, Lance, where's the medical mountain? Because people that are prioritizing health and wellness or in the medical profession, they don't see it as a business. It's more like a calling. But they don't see it as a church mountain either. But it is a sacred calling. And I finally had to do something. I had to reorganize my matrix for the 7 mountains. And I said, you know what? I'm going to create a science and technology mountain, because what AI is doing and what we're finding in breakthroughs in terms of the medical field and the merger of science and that, I think we're stepping into an unusual new area where then when COVID hit, I realized the scientific medical community is going to be with us now till the end as its own gate. And I thank God that that gate has not been given over to the enemy, but God is occupying that gate, and there are breakthroughs that are happening right now. And that sets me up for my guest, Bobbi Vitality. Bobbi, I think the Lord used you by providential circumstances to come upon the area of stem cell therapy.
Yes.
And to pioneer a kind of like a mastery of that, a refined, purified, controlled methodology for being able to deliver the best results in that field that is still undergoing so much research here and around the world, because it's producing results and they're having a hard time trying. It's one of those fields where they're getting results, but they're not quite sure why and how, but they know, but they're documenting the impact. And in our last interview, you said you came upon it because of a tennis pro that needed, and he got results in his knee through stem cells.
Regrew his knee.
Regrew his knee. And that made you raise your eyebrows and say, maybe there's something to this.
Absolutely.
And you were a Christian already, right, at that time?
Yes. I was a Christian already, and I was searching for what God wanted me to do.
Okay.
My assignment. And little did I know that from 8 to 18, growing up in Northeast Philadelphia in the 60s, as we were in the same area, I watched over a dozen of my family members die. They got sick and they died. And they weren't dying, Lance, in their 80s or their 90s. They were dying in their late 30s, 40s, and 50s. And a lot of them were dying from medical intervention, what I call iatrogenic disease. A lot of them were dying from what I call PLDDs, preventable lifestyle-driven disease. It's not something you catch, but something that you allow in your life. And it really just changed my life. When I saw this, I didn't know it at the time, but God was showing us something. And Matthew 13:11 says, it is given to you to know the mysteries of the kingdom. I believe this is one of the mysteries of the kingdom. It's simple, safe, convenient, effective, affordable. What excites me more than anything is touching lives, because I heard from a very powerful person a long time ago when I first became a Christian. I heard, here's how you find your assignment. Figure out what you hate and what you're called to redeem. And I thought, hate? You're not supposed to hate. But then I look back, what do I hate? Well, I hated watching my family members die. Sickness, illness, suffering. I hated disease. I hated people going out early. I hated people suffering and being just overwhelmed with sickness, illness, infirmity, and disease. I hated it. But I also hated people being broke. I hated poverty. So the two things I'm called to redeem are the healthcare industry, right? Because it's not really a healthcare industry, it's a sick care industry. We see there's so many variables, there's so much fraud and all this stuff, being unveiled right now. But I love stuff that works. Brother, I just love seeing lives change. My personal mission statement is to make wellness simple, right? I love simplicity. Level 10 Matrix is the most simple thing you'll ever do in your life. It's simple and it's safe. I love that. And it's really, really simple, and it produces results. That's what I love too. You can't deny the testimonials. So many people, and we work with scientists, and we work with some of the top medical people.
You got labs and stuff, and you got people that you work with that are the best scientists.
That's exactly right. And a lot of them will say, well, hey, that's anecdotal evidence. Well, it's not anecdotal to the person that got healed. It's not anecdotal to the person that's family is transformed. It's not anecdotal to the person who was in chronic pain, was thinking about killing themselves, but didn't because they had hope, right? And what we're doing is we're linking the supernatural to the natural, and we're making it so simple. It's total body renovation, total body regeneration. And Lance, at the core, we forget, because we get bombarded with culture and society, we forget that the power that created us is the power that healed us.
And you know what's coming up for me right now, Bobby? It's interesting. Is I went to Oral Roberts University, right? So that's where I got my master's and went there. And Oral was ahead of people. Yes. I mean, him and Pat Robertson were like I'd say the apostles of the seven mountains.
Yes.
Because what they said was, we want to see Jesus exalted at the top of every man's world, so that if it's in academia, Christians filled with the Spirit should be a C.S. Lewis. We should have a C.S. Lewis in literature. We should have our level 10 manifestation of what God does. You mentioned Matthew 13:11. And I was thinking about that when you said it. He replied, Jesus said, the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, not to them. And we always take that, and it's appropriate to say, well, these are spiritual mysteries about regeneration, born again, sanctification, glorification. These are spiritual truths. But that's also limiting, because if God called you to be, like I'm privileged to be a Bible teacher, if it's from my bloodline, the Ashkenazi rabbis are on my father's side, and so I discovered that later on. Well, I just love teaching. If people call me rabbi for some reason, I love to get into the Word. But I've also been shown by the Lord that there's hidden manna that God wants to reveal in business.
Yes.
Hidden manna in medical and technology. Hidden manna in government solutions.
Good.
Hidden manna in education. And these are the treasures of darkness. They're hidden in darkness, but they're meant to be exploited and exposed under people who are anointed.
That's good.
Isaiah 45 says, thus says the Lord to Cyrus, whom I've anointed. And I'm going to give you the treasures that are hidden in darkness. God gives access to hidden treasure to the anointed. Now, this is where you fit in, because Oral Roberts he built the medical facility there, and he wanted to have the world's best medical scientists, researchers, and doctors that would be filled with the Holy Spirit and would be breaking through in technology and breakthroughs. And the Pentecostal world, my world that I grew up with, thought he got off track. First of all, why is he starting a university? Because Oral Roberts felt we should have academia. Why is he doing TV? Because he felt we should be in media. Well, why is he doing a medical community? Because he believed that there should be Christians dominating science and technology.
Yes.
Because the hidden things will be revealed to God's people. The old-time Pentecostals said, wow, Oral's gone off. And I hung out with them. They were the Branhamites, the people that were early, Pentecostals of the word. They said, Oral has those two hands coming together, and it's got one hand of man and the hand of God. That's blasphemy. God doesn't need your hand. And I thought, that's what I grew up with. But then I ended up with Seven Mountains. I looked at Pat Robertson doing his university and entertainment, and it's in the Family Network. I said, these guys saw we're supposed to be in more than one domain. We're just not around the corner doing our thing in church. We go into all the world. I believe God gave you access to a mystery, a treasure hidden in darkness, and it has to do with one of the most sacred fundamental principles in the world. The life is in the blood, but you have a researcher goes into that thing like, what's the guy that researched the peanut and came up with 70 inventions?
Oh, yeah.
Right? You do that one thing, and when you start examining it, you suddenly open up a whole treasure of, and here I said hidden manna for a reason, folks, and just forgive me for just going on for a second, because it starts with milk. That's when you get the milk of the word.
Yes.
Then when you begin to meditate on it, work it, metastasize it, it's called meat. You can't chew. You need teeth to handle meat.
Yeah, it's good.
So now the meat. But once you start to meditate upon it and you're in your assignment,
yes,
God releases to you hidden manna. I've got the testimonies, folks, of multi-million-dollar business creations that came to God's Pentecostal people who were seeking God for a unique insight in their field. And once they got from the milk to the meat, he gave them the hidden manna, and they got patents and unique intellectual property that they later on come out. If you're a Christian, they'll come out and tell you the testimony. And that's what I do. I collect the testimonies of inventions that have come from businessmen and researchers. And I think this is what you did. I think you stumbled upon by God's divine appointment this field, but then you grabbed it and said, "Let me go there."
Yes.
Does that make sense to you?
It makes total sense. And it was George Washington Carver. I love that guy.
Oh, okay. That's that guy, right? All right.
Yeah, I love that guy. Thousands of ways to use a peanut. We're still using them today, right? It's that ingenuity. And I love the scriptures. When you talked about he hides, he doesn't hide it from us.
He hides it for us.
Exactly.
It's hidden in darkness for us.
Yeah, it's exactly right, because it's given unto us to know the mysteries of the kingdom, and it would be prideful to think I know the mysteries of why all this works and how all this works. I just know that it does work. I've been doing it now for going on a decade, okay? And what I've seen, I can never unsee, and I believe it's the best. My personal mission statement is to make wellness simple, and this is super simple, and it's for anybody. Right? But also my vision statement is to help as many people as possible, as fast as possible, and equip and empower others to do the same. That's why I value our friendship and our partnership and being part of the family, because we can touch more people. Because that's really what I get most excited about, helping more people, touching more people for Jesus, touching more people for the gospel. 8 out of 10 people that I meet, and I travel a lot, 8 out of 10 people I meet are crying out or praying out because they have some type of health issue, some type of degenerative issue that's been spoken over them and that they're dealing with, and they don't know how it's going to be fixed, right? And that's what I believe. We were shown this mystery of the kingdom, and it's our obligation to get it out. But I love results too. Right? I mean, if it doesn't produce results, it's not going to get my attention for long, right? So many results. We have successfully performed. When I say we, it's a huge team of people, not just me, right? I'm just one of the co-founders. We have performed over 350,000 successful therapies, never hurt anybody, and some of the stories that we hear are beyond. I mean, it's better than stem cells. It's beyond stem cells. And one of our next shows, we'll talk about Muse cells, M-U-S-E cells. We'll talk about star cells. It's all in what we're doing and all the types of the components that we're doing, because 25:2 in Proverbs, Brother Lance, says it's the glory of God to conceal a matter. It's the glory of kings to search it out, right? And we have some of the best
in darkness right there.
That's exactly right. We have some of the best scientists in the world that are creating this formula for us that transforms the quality of people's health and life.
Producers interrupting me now because I got carried away. When I'm with you, it happens.
Yeah. It's okay.
We have a video testimony of, and I want to hear it. It's the first time I'm hearing it. It's of Vaughn. Let me go ahead. Testimony of Vaughn. Bob, is there anything we need to know before we watch this?
This is Pastor Shirley, the stem cell lady's son, a Miracle Mark's son, and it's a great story. And your son, Lance Jr., had a similar issue that we can talk about.
Oh, okay. Let's find out.
I'm just saying, these stem cells do things, and they don't need a diagnosis. I was down at a really low place in my life. While I was doing furniture store work, I didn't know it, but I was being exposed to black mold the whole time in my house. I started to lose memory. I started to not be able to take any orders because I didn't remember anything. I was falling asleep at least 2 times every commute going home. And I was slowly starting to lose the ability to speak. I got in 2 fender benders because my foot just wouldn't go on the brake. My mom brought up to me, "Hey, have you ever thought about taking stem cells?" And I was like, well, I've prayed about it and I haven't heard a yes. About a few days later, she looks at me and she says, "Did God ever tell you no?" I said, "Good point." So I went ahead and I got the stem cells, and in 5 minutes, almost like a constant white noise that sounded like a swarm of bees, it just disappeared, like it was gone. I was starting to get memories of my childhood back that I forgot that I remembered. We finally find out that the black mold was in the house, and I get out of that environment, and then I get even better. My confidence started boosting up. My ability to speak and articulate were back. I am just another story and a testament to what these stem cells do. And I'm just saying they don't need a diagnosis. They literally go into your body, they become what you need, boom. That's it.
Wow. And I see why you said that, because both my wife and my firstborn son had a problem with mold. They pick up. I'm not as sensitive to it as them, but I mean, it literally can paralyze your life.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm super sensitive to it. I struggled with it for 14 years. They call it mycotic infection, but it's a fungus. It's a candida. I struggled with it for many, many years. And one of the things I love about the matrix is stem cells are clinically studied to do over 450 different beneficial things. But that would take you forever to tell. But I like to synthesize it down for simplicity. They'll seek out degeneration, and they'll go there, and they'll build, grow, and create new tissue. They know what you need, where you need it, and they go there and become it. That's the innate intelligence you've talked about so many times. It's anti-inflammatory, right? Everybody's going to say, inflammation is the killer, right? You're going to see it on the front of Time magazine, and that's true. It's not incorrect, but it's incomplete. Because what's at the core of all inflammatory disease? Degeneration. Your body doesn't have the ability to regenerate that area anymore when it used to. So it's the most anti-inflammatory thing you could do. It's immunomodulatory, right? Doesn't strengthen your immune system, doesn't weaken it. It balances, it modulates your immune system, because most diseases are autoimmune diseases. That's your body attacking itself, right? So powerful antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial, and I got to tell you, we don't have the research yet, but we're working on it. And we have so many different anecdotal testimonials of people that were suffering with side effects from the spike protein, and they received the matrix, and the symptoms went away. Why? Because I believe it seeks out anything foreign that's not natural, that doesn't belong in there. It goes out like it seeks out fungal colonies that you might not know are there, and it goes in and it breaks them up. So it's super powerful. Wow. And we just see the miracles. I call them smart medicine miracles. And everybody talks about medicine. But the definition of medicine, right, is not drugs, right? It's not surgery. The definition of medicine is the science of the study of the diagnosis, treatment, and prevention of disease. Just like many things in our culture, it's backwards, right? It should be the science, the study, and the practice of the prevention. Because if you practice prevention first, you have so much less diagnosis, and you don't need any treatment. This isn't a treatment for a disease. This is a therapy that's simple, safe, convenient, effective, affordable, and it produces measurable results. And one of the things I'm sure of, it's not going to hurt you in a million years. So it's exciting that we have this available as level 10 matrix. You know, the word matrix is a Hebrew word, and I know your background, I know you love that stuff.
And it means?
And it means womb. It's rechem, and it means womb. Psalm 139, God said, my hands knit you together, right, in the uttermost parts of the earth, right? Also says, I knew you, or I was intimate with you in your mother's womb. So this comes from the womb. And where did we all start out? We all started out in the womb, right? From the womb to the tomb, it's a healing revolution, and that's really what it is. And God gave us this as a secret of darkness. It's a treasure. It really is a treasure, and it's our obligation, our responsibility, and my responsibility, how I define it, is my response to his ability, right? And we've touched lives, and we are not going to stop. There's so many people out there, like Pastor Bill and Clara. I talked to them last week. They told me 10 news stories, right? They're out there doing seminars every day. People need to hear this message of hope. Pastor Shaw, the stem cell lady, used to say hope, H-O-P-E, healing of other people everywhere. And I love that you went to Oral Roberts. Yeah. Right? I like to consider ourselves very close friends. We know a lot about each other, but I didn't know that. Right. So that's beautiful that you went there. I love that. I think that's great.
No, because like I said, he was ahead of his time.
Yes.
And he got in trouble with a lot of faith folks because he said, I don't think we have to exclude ourselves from the field of science and technology. I think we should be leading it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And because God will put you on your mountain, you should be the head and not the tail, above and not beneath. And if you or someone that you love is right now struggling with fear of a surgery or more medication, or they're starting to go through, and you know what the problem is? You start to agree with it. It's like, well, we're getting older, so your memory starts to go.
Yes.
Well, it doesn't have to be that way. Level10matrix.com, 1-800-361-2270. Take action now. You'll be glad you did. I'm sorry we're out of time, Bobby. We'll have to come back again and get you back here because I got more questions for you. But you guys, by the way, contact us at level10matrix.com, 800-361-2270, and let us know your questions there, and we'll be able to help you. God bless. Bye-bye.
Did you enjoy this latest episode? Please remember to share it with your friends, because the more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to navigate the world